Hello, this is Julian.
I'm Aiden.
We're from the Booyah Kids. Guess I'm going to talk to this computer. Thanks for tuning in to our production deconstruction of our new song we put out called Manny. We're just going to walk you through track by track, every track in this song. I guess I'll start with a little history about the song. It was produced by myself and Emma, who's not here, and Charlie Kilgore, who I work with on a lot of the Michelle music. And it was mixed by Chris Cody. So this project, you're gonna be like, where's all the EQ and compression? I didn't mix it. This is just where I left it before I sent it off to get mixed. So you might hear things you didn't know were there, or the drums just might not sound as punchy. More background. The song was written over a different track. And so when we decided to produce the song for the Booyah Kids, what we had the key, we had the lyric, we had the chords, and we had the tempo. So we kind of made the whole new track and production around the song. And the whole EP, which is coming out and will be out, we produced in around 2 months, like the whole thing. Very set it down, set it and forget it, move forward with everything. So there are a lot of tracks here, a lot of different stuff going on. We just kind of went for it, didn't think twice about anything. So I guess we can just get into it. I guess we'll start with the drums and move downwards. Here are the drums. The basic groove is made up of this kick drum, which I can play. This is the samples from Mars drum tracks, kits, just kick drum, and then same with the snare. Another just stock samples from Mars snare drum.
No tuning?
No tuning, yeah. And it's sending to a bus that doesn't exist anymore. And then there's a reverb on the snare. So basically I copied the track and I added this reverb. Full wet. It's the Abbey Road chambers in the mirror room. A little bit of filtering. And together with the snare that sounds like this. System of voting again. But so kick and snare and reverb sounds like this. Then I have a hi-hat. Again, it's the drum tracks kits, no tuning. And this has 2 different patterns, I think. In the pre-chorus, if I play with the kick and snare and I load it up, it has this kind of velocity pattern. And then in the chorus, let's see, is it the same pattern? I think it's the same. So kind of a velocity pattern, give it some dynamics. Then in the chorus, you got these claps that come in. This clap is, again, just the drum tracks kits clap. And what is this? Same thing, just had 2 different claps. So that sounds like. Gotta love that down-tuned clap. So with the claps, it kind of sounds like. Then in the chorus, there's a ride that comes in. Sounds like this. Give it a little lift in the chorus. And that's the same thing, except it's tuned up just a little bit, +2, give it some more air. And it has a little bit of sample delay, just a tiny bit. Probably did that because I thought it felt like it was adding a little too much aggression. I wanted to lay it back in time a little bit. So, and that has a velocity pattern too. And these velocities I probably just played in with a MIDI keyboard. Then we have some toms. Again, going to a bus that doesn't exist. Panned and drum track kits, not tuned at all. They sound pretty cool. Same fill here. It's a different fill here. So, in context, or I hear. And then last drum element is this crash, which is again untuned. It's a crash and it has this H delay on it. Looks like the stock setting, except ping pong in the 8th note. So crash sounds like this. Brings a little more width, and sustain to it. Without it, it sounds like this. I think it's nice with it. So the whole drum thing going to the chorus sounds like this. So then the next track is the bass. Charlie Kilgore's playing the bass. I forget what bass it is. Probably just one of his modded PJs. And it's DI going through an Ampex 350. I think it's going through a Motown DI. Sounds like this in the verse. Kind of reminiscent of kind of dive, kind of a dive-esque bass sound. And then the chorus, it goes to this different pattern. Pretty good bass playing. He's killer. So drums and bass sound like this. And in the chorus. So I felt like when the chorus was hitting, I thought we lost the bass a little bit. So I took the bass track and I duplicated it. And I pitch shifted it up an octave. And then I put this plugin on it, which is, I guess, doing phasing and flanging, giving it some movement. And then an echo plugin to kind of make it seem like there was a guitar doubling it, but it was pretty late in the process. I think I was charging a rental electric car and was finishing the song, and so I just needed to figure something out. So fake guitar double. So together, it kind of makes maybe it gives the bass a little more mid-range when the chorus hits. And width as well. And I think it just made the part the bass is playing kind of pop out in the mix a little more. So then, that's all the bass and the drums. We get to this, it's an Arturia CS80. This is the part that's doing. And just, playing it real quick. And this is the patch. It loads up. Very simple. It's just a saw wave, the filter down. No even. This is, again, we were moving so quickly. It was just kind of the simplest patch. I think it's one of the simplest patches you can make. All it is just a saw wave with no sustain and a little bit of decay. Yeah, I wasn't even fucking with the voice dispersion. And so with no tremolos, it sounds like this. If I put on the click, you'll understand. It felt like it wasn't groovy enough or didn't have much of like its own rhythm. So this tremolo plugin it kind of gives it a little bit of a motion. Like a kind of a pulsing aspect. And then this tremolo plugin does the same thing. Kind of gives it an attack with the snare. So all together with the two tremolo plugins. Versus on. And I thought this added just to the racing quality of the track because it's kind of a faster song. The next track to look at is the acoustic guitar. This is kind of a funny story. You can see it's called like Tester E-flat Standard. These were just scratch acoustic guitars that we did when I was demoing the song. Charlie Kilgore's playing them. They're recorded. We just picked the first mic we could think of to use, which was a Loud and Audio Atlantis mic. Not really a mic you'd use for acoustic guitar. But we just put it up because we're like, just a scratch. But then the Atlantis is such a weird sound that we built the whole track around the acoustics, and then when we tried to re-record them, not like we couldn't use a quote-unquote better mic because it just sounded weird, and Charlie couldn't recreate his takes. So they sound like this. So take one here, take two here, through the whole song. Pretty nice sound. And you can actually hear me say, I think it's maybe this track, I'm telling him that the chorus is coming. You can hear me say, here we go. Which is kind of cool, because you wouldn't have that, it would be hard to put that in, like here we go into the chorus, but it just ends up being like that. But he sounds great, the chorus acoustics. So yes, acoustics. And then there's a high pass filter. I probably did this on the day. I don't usually use this EQ, and this is a very steep. I don't know. This is just what I did, but I ended up liking it. Then it's duplicated, and there's a echo plugin, fully wet, eighth note, and this sounds like this. So yeah, this was kind of a featured element in this version of the song. When it came back from Chris, I think he decided to use less of the delay. I don't hear it as much, which I think was probably a cool choice. But in this, where I left it in my rough, the delay on the acoustic is quite higher. Together they sound like this. Be easier to hear with the drums and stuff. Um, Kind of adds a swirling effect. So next up, we got a bunch of instrument tracks that you probably can't even hear in the final version because it's way too dense. Omnichords played by Emily, doubled. They sound like this. Really nice playing. And then the chorus. So, just kind of omnichord playing throughout the whole song. Next is this element that comes in the second verse. Play it. And then second half it speeds up. Kind of a simple, stupid melody. It's on this CS80 plugin again. It's a good sounding plugin, very analog sounding. I turned the voice dispersion up, make it sound older. It's a triangle wave with decay and release. Very simple. Kind of, and I won't say this is on purpose. Nowadays I would use more, but it was like 12:30 in the morning and I just wanted to get something done. Moving quick. And it has a tremolo plugin. This is just bringing some width to it because I wanted it to move around the stereo field a little bit. When you work in headphones, you start thinking about width a lot more, I find. The next element is a chorus element, one of the very early elements we add to the song. It sounds like this. I'll play it with click so you can kind of hear what's going on. I thought this would bring like attitude if you play with the kick. But what's interesting about this is that I had to split it up because the attack time on the synth for that first chord has to be a certain length for it to swell at the right time. But for those second two chords, it has to be a lot shorter, or else it would sound like this. Oh, might be. Let's play with the click.
Can you turn the click down?
Yes, you got it. Oh yes. One second, I'm gonna turn the click down. Fuck my life.
If you also...
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to have, again, this is what it sounds like normally. If it would all be done on one synth patch, this would swell way too early. So, and if we're all done on this synth patch, these two would swell way too late. So I had this sound, which is done on the OBXA, and you see the attack is here, but for the other one, the attack is either longer or shorter. Again, kind of stupidly simple sound, not even doing any pitch mod, which I would love to do if I had redone this, or adding another oscillator. Oh, I have a second oscillator. There's kind of grading between two oscillators here. So yeah, this is this sound, chorus swell. Next up is this pad. This is also OBXA, a little more involved, slightly. This comes in the pre-choruses to add kind of an ethereal quality. It sounds like this. And this has different voicings. You can see using this half step here. Kind of a cool sound. Next, and you know, we're just gonna keep, there's so many tracks here, but I'm just gonna go through them all. Next is this, I split out a lot of stuff for the intro. So here's the omnichord in the intro. This I wanted to add sample delay to. I thought it was rushing by a fair amount, so I delayed it. There's a click at the end. I screwed that up. So next up is this another ARP. This comes in the pre-choruses, and then later it comes in at the top of the second chorus. This is another OBXA sound. If you want my preset, there you go. Sounds like this. Oop, maybe. Here we go. You can hear I made a mistake that I never even realized. Right there. But it's a cool sound with a little echo on it. And then in the chorus it plays this. Kind of a nice little thing. I'll move this down into some of the other omnichord stuff. Then we're into this kind of main tagline, which altogether sounds like this. So that's made up of 3 synths. I guess I'll start at the bottom. It's made up of this synth. This is Emma playing her Prophet 600. This is her melody. So I thought that was a little low, so I added this melody on top. Square wave patch. Together it kind of does an octave up. And then this melody, which is a Korg MS-20. This is kind of more of like a acid, kind of rhythmic, keep your attention kind of sound. So yeah, that's all together again. Great. Oops. Then we get into a lot of omnichord little details. So We've got this omnichord, it comes in the intro. And that happens going right into the chorus. It'll be easy to hear it if I play it with like the acoustics or something. Kind of got to be used as a kind of an ambient transition element. Really cool stuff. Next is Omni 2. This is kind of a chopped up omnichord. This is giving a lift to the chorus. Really nice sound. Kind of that's coming in the chorus. Then we got this other omnichord. Now this is coming in the second halves of both pre's. So I think I chopped this up to make that chorus part because I thought this part was really cool, but then we lost energy when we hit the chorus, even though we have way too many instruments. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing playing on this with the Prophet and the omnichord. And then we got two more instrument tracks. Again, this is Charlie playing. It's a Strat going DI into an Ampex 350 through a Motown DI. This comes in the second half of the first verse. I can play it. I'll mute the vocals for a sec. To kind of bring tension. So this is originally, if I solo it, put on the click again. I should not need the click. Oh, so load up the mixer. The original sound for this is this, just a DI vibe. Sounds like this. Doubled, obviously, and then add some chorus. And this is just the glimmering chorus preset on the stock Logic chorus. Then I like this plugin Sound Shifter. It's really good if you want to move stuff up an octave. And then some reverb to give it drama. Abbey Road plates, default plate. You know, sounds fine. And then in the chorus, second half of both choruses in the outro, we get the same electric guitar. And Chris did a great job when he's mixing of bringing this out. You can really hear this in the mix, but in my rough that I sent to him, it's quite quiet, but it's basically just this. I think Chris did a great job knowing that was a really special element and bringing that through. You can hear it's featured much more in the outro. Great, and so that's all the instruments. We can get to some of the vocals. A lot of vocals here, very split out. It was recorded over different periods of time, so not every sound is the same, so we need to split it out. I guess what's interesting? There's some interesting aspects in the chorus, the way the vocals are layered in the chorus. Emma produced these all by herself. So the chorus is, we have some chest voice.
Manipulation. Manipulate.
Kind of, chesty. And then we got 4 layers of some head voice.
Manipulation. Manipulate.
And then, so together, it kind of makes an interesting sound.
Manipulation.
Kind of creates the illusion there are more people than one person singing, like an ensemble effect, because singing in different ways. Then we've got some harmonies. There's a simple harmony, and the second half it kind of bumps up to a third one.
Manipulation. Manipulate. Manipulation.
Simple, sick harmonies. Second half of the chorus, also to bump up the energy, we have these oohs that come in.
Manipulation.
And then there's a delay. This is my reference I sent, which is a slapback, like 8th note delay.
Manipulation.
Oops, sorry. System overload. Let me just turn these up real quick so you can really hear the second half.
Manipulation.
So spooky vibes in the outro. There's also this vocal right here. It's cool in the outro. So that has the Waves plugin, the King's microphones on it to give it just kind of a more lo-fi sound. Anything else? I mean, there's some cool stuff in the second. Pre has some nice backups. Let's see if I can solo this.
Break. Found in, now you're in. How to stop it? Found the switch, you flip it. Now you've done it.
Pretty cool. I really like all these vocals. Obviously, Emma's amazing. She produced it great. Well, that's it. I think we got through the whole song. I think, Aiden, I went through every element, right? Like, is there any questions you want answered, or anything that would be interesting to hear, or any like perspectives?
I'm just curious about your velocity with your drum programming.
Of the velocity.
Because you're just more, maybe not anything specific, but more just the approach. Like, you're playing it in.
Yes. So the only things that have velocity here are, well, basically everything has velocity because I'm just playing it in. Most things have velocity, but not everything.
On the keyboards is
the CS80 is velocity sensitive.
Okay.
But on the drums, these, let me see, anything have velocity here? No velocity in this. Well, no velocity in the snare. The hats, the velocity approach on the hats is to recreate the sense of pumping compression. Basically, if I have the velocity up between the kick and snare hits, if you noticed, So
Yes.
there's a open space here, open space here, open space here, here, and then I kind of cheat there. But basically, it's to recreate the idea that if I took all this and I put like a crazy compressor on it, let's see if it even plays. This compressor's probably not gonna work.
But like, you're a drummer.
Yes, yes.
So-
I'm trying to recreate it as if I was playing it, and I would play this, but I'm also like, if there was crazy compression, like this compressor is too clean. It's not doing the crazy pumping effects. But yeah, I'm trying to just make it seem like the drums are being compressed, even though they're not being compressed. Because if I'm sending something to get mixed, I can't send the drums with any bus compression on them, or I could send a parallel, but so I'm trying to create the illusion of them being compressed as much as possible. And that's kind of the same thing that's happening with this crash, where if there was a lot of compression happening on the crash, it would get extended, it would get really washy. But so the extension that compression would create, I'm kind of trying to recreate with delay and with velocity.
Cool.
Great. I think, well, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, I guess DM us on Instagram, and we'll be happy to walk you through whatever you need.
Yep. This will go on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be on
Also,
YouTube.
drop
Yeah.
a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment, but I'm not sure I'll reply to the comments. So just DM us on Instagram. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.